Hey guys, welcome back to the Drama Drop. We are going to be mourning an absolute icon, Miss Dolly Parton herself. I'm finally opening up the floodgates, talking about Big Brother season 28 and closing the loop on The Valley season 3. So there is a lot happening, and in typical Morgan fashion, I have a lot to talk about. So go ahead, get settled in because the drama drops now.
Hey friends, this is the Drama Drop, because somebody has to talk about it.
Hello, my lovely listeners. Before I get into topics, there's just something that I have to talk about and ask you guys. It's a very niche thing. So some of you may totally understand what I'm talking about. And then there could be a whole other part of the listeners that are just like, what are you actually talking about? But I'm very curious to know, do you guys have niche content creators or TikTokers that you just like routinely follow or keep up with? And what I mean by that is, not like the viral cliche TikTokers that everybody knows about or whatever, that have huge brand deals or, millions and millions of followers. I'm talking about just kind of like these random people that you stumble upon and like they have a decent amount of following, but they're not by any means, anything were to come out of something controversial of them, that there would be any sort of TMZ article, just like random people that create content on TikTok that kind of, I feel like, just got maybe lucky that they have like this following. Anyways, I have like 5 that I routinely, I want to say hyperfixate, but I feel like that's a very weird word because I don't like obsess over them. But I've noticed within myself, because I'm very much a routine person, and when there's something that I like, I become like, okay, this is part of my routine. So, I used to keep up with like these creators daily. I'd be like, oh, what'd they post today? But then I started doing this thing where I would save it all for the weekend. So it's like a little treat. Like, depending on what my Saturday is, it could be Saturday or Sunday. It's like, ooh, okay, like let me go down my list of like these 5 people that I follow that I like to keep up with and go to their TikTok account and then start from where I've left off. And then I just like watch their videos. And it could be like, it's not even anything that I'm going to like, I need to know about or that I'm going to do. Like, it's like this one family, they just try like different candies or they do like mystery box unboxing. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just like so weird, but there's just something about these creators and they just feel so wholesome, or I don't know what it is, but I don't know. Anyways, I'm just curious if anybody else have those type of creators that you follow where it's like, ooh, like what they post today? Like I need to go follow, because I am very rarely, honestly, like there'll be people that I follow, like there's this one creator, and then I'll see comments that say, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you on my For You page. Like, where have you been? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, am I the only one like actively like searching for their name to like go and see what I've missed throughout the week? I'm just curious if you guys do that, or if you do that, like who are the creators that you're watching? Because I don't know, like my favorite thing to do is like find new comfort creators, I guess is like the best way to put it. So it's not like those ones that are where it's overly curated, millions and millions of followers, type of thing. It's more of just kind of like these everyday families types of people. And, it's not just very calculated and formulated in what they do. It's kind of like they just set up the camera, press record, and then post. There's not like too much thought. Those are like my favorite. But anyways, I just was very curious if anybody has any of those, because I might start talking about some of them. I don't know. There's only like one of them that's like drama. So, I'm all about that. But trying to keep up with that one is a whole mess. It's almost like every day it changes. But anyways, that's a story for another day. I just had to ask that. But we're going to start the pod off with the first story, which is just like another devastating death in Hollywood. One that was very shocking. And I'm sure you guys can guess it. Yes, Dolly Parton, one would argue America's sweetheart. It's very weird because it's just like, she's 80, right? She's lived a long, full life. But for some reason, it's just like she just seemed like stopped in time, she just doesn't seem like she was 80 years old. um, kind of honestly, like to me, she seemed immortal. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, obviously, like she's getting older, whatever. But for some reason, like she just always had just such a young, lively energy about her, always just so like fun and just full of life and just like didn't seem, like she fell into like, oh, I'm getting older type of thing. So it's really hard for me to wrap my mind around, oh, wow. Like, cause yeah, she's 80, which is, could be considered old, but with how she lived, it almost seems like that was so young for her. Like to me, it's like she was going to live to 150. So this was absolutely devastating news, very shocking. So yeah, so she passed away today, August 25th is when I'm recording this. So and it wasn't no secret that her health was declining. I mean, she was very open about that. I did see that there was confirmation that she did battle cancer. I guess it was like a very short amount of time, but that ultimately was what took her life. But what I feel really eerie, which I'll like read it because I want to do like her passing justice and like the people honoring her justice. So I'm going to like specifically read the quotes that was said about her. But I just feel it was very eerie because not too long ago, it was like 4 days prior to her death. She talked about like she just has still so much that she wants to do and what she wants to accomplish, which I feel like is so sad, but also just like tracks like that. It does seem like Dolly, like she, like I said, doesn't seem like she was the age that she was. I mean, not that long ago, she was performing in the halftime Super Bowl, no? Like, or was it the Thanksgiving parade? She was like doing something at some performance, like halftime performance at a huge football game in her little Dallas Cowboys cheerleader uniform. So it's like, I don't know, like it's hard to process. And I mean, you can definitely tell like people are feeling it, like it's heavy. Like there's so many celebrities, so many people that are just like coming out and like posting. I mean, obviously, like majority of people didn't know her personally, but the work that she did, just like I said, the energy that she brought, she just seemed like such a genuine, kind soul. And yeah, like you just really like feel something like that. I feel it's almost like very similar to like Betty White. Like to me, like I love Betty White. And obviously she was getting older, like that was very apparent. But to me, I'm like, oh, she's never going to pass. Like it's Betty White. So it's just kind of very shocking. But I mean, she's just done so many noteworthy things. Like she's a Grammy winner. She was an actress. Like she had a musical about her life. I mean, and she has an amusement park about her, basically it was like Dollywood, which is funny because I was talking to my husband about that this past weekend. I was just like, hey, we need to go to Dollywood. Like, why not? Like, that would be kind of fun. Just randomly, like it randomly came across my feed. So it's just kind of weird. I'm like, oh, wow. Like, I don't know, like things like that. It's very strange. But yeah, I mean, it was, noted like her health really started to take a decline after the passing of her husband, Carl Thomas Dean, which occurred in March of 2025. But the announcement came from her nephew. He released an announcement to Instagram, and I just want to read some of the things that he said because I just feel like to honor her, celebrate her life, and just kind of give her everything that she deserves in this. Like I want to read it. I don't necessarily want to summarize it, but so her nephew, he said, "It is an honor that is mixed with absolute pride and great sadness. But sadness lies with us, not with Dolly. Dolly has lived in the light and is in the arms of Jesus, surely met by Carl, her parents, and countless others who have watched her and longed to meet her in the heavens." Like that's just really sweet. Then he goes on to mention just everything that she's done for like the family and the community and everything. By her example, we believed that anything is possible. She never saw a door she couldn't open, and the doors she opened made and changed history, which I find to be just super sweet. His statement continued. He was like, "My family and I have shared a lifetime of beautiful memories with Dolly, but so have you. She has always been on your television, your record player, your CD, or on your phone playlist, becoming an extended part of your family, whether you liked it or not. Our family and the team she has entrusted with her legacy will work diligently to ensure her spirit will live with us forever. Dolly was a farmer, just like her daddy. He farmed the soil. She farmed songs and happiness." Um, and I just will end it on the last thing that he said was Dolly called me and said she wants to rest in a beautiful bed of plush cotton because after a life of wearing heavy rhinestones, she finally deserves to be comfortable and have some rest. Seaver ended his statement saying, "Rest in peace, Aunt Dolly, Aunt Granny, Gigi. May God bless Dolly Parton and may God bless you all. She will always love you." Um, I just feel like that was such an amazing, statement, beautifully said. I love, that he kind of threw in something that she said, wanted to be a bed of cotton. Like, I'm just tired of wearing all this stuff, kind of like throwing a little joke. I feel like that just shows like her humor and her light. And yeah, I mean, I really do feel like she was very prevalent in your growing up, childhood life, whatever. I feel like she's definitely a household name. Like, that is a name that you recognize no matter what. And I don't think I've ever heard a negative thing about her in the industry, tabloids, whatever. I just feel like she was just always somebody that was beloved by all generations, all walks of life. And I just really felt like it was really sweet that in his statement, like, it wasn't necessarily just about like him and his family. Like, he really recognized that, she was such a household name and just very important to her fans and everybody else, that it was like he was also recognizing that, granted that we don't know her, have necessarily a personal relationship with her, but that it was very much, going to be devastating to everybody and that she had made a huge impact on everybody. But, so, and then like her last public announcement, it was on this past Friday. It was August 21st, where she was giving kind of health update and, acknowledging that she was declining in her health. She said, "As I've shared in video messages throughout the past year, I am dealing with some health issues that I just didn't pay attention to when I was watching over Carl. This isn't the first time I've had to manage something like this. Back in the early 80s, I was down for several months with female issues and I was struggling with my weight at the time too. So it's not like I haven't been through hard times with my health." And then there's, she mentioned that, "But I think because we live in a 24/7 world with social media, everything gets magnified in ways it wasn't years ago. I used to joke that I was the queen of tabloids, but now I guess I can say I'm the queen of social media AI. Seriously though, even though I'm still healing, I'm still working. You know me, as I've often said, I've dreamed myself into a corner and I still have so many things I want to achieve. So I'm going to keep on working as long as I can see everything come to life." That's just so, so sad, because it's like she, I feel like honestly, probably part of her felt like she really, truly didn't have that much time left, as much as she didn't want to believe it. So, I mean, the irony kind of like, is it a coincidence? Like 4 days prior to her passing, that she makes the statement, which, I'll be honest, I don't follow Dolly on any social media platform. So I'm not really sure like how frequently she would, regularly post or whatever, or, maybe there was management behind things of her posting and stuff like that. But just the fact that you make a statement and you're just kind of like, I'm acknowledging my health declining. But like, I still have so much I want to do. It's almost kind of like you're just kind of saying your final last statement, even though maybe that it's kind of coming to an end. I don't know, but it is just very sad. And, there's just been so much death in Hollywood, deaths that have been just very hard to hear. And, yeah, it's sad. And I mean, obviously, these are people too, like, they're not immune to the natural passing of life, moving on to the next stage, but it's still just very jarring. And then, it just always kind of seems like when one death happens, another one shortly. And it's just sad. And it just, especially too, like as me, like getting older, and it's like these people that I've grown up with or, like looked up to, or, like I said, household name. It's just, it's a very bizarre feeling like when those people start to pass on. But that's really just the main sad news I needed to address. Like, that wasn't obviously a planned story that I had to talk about and, go over. But I mean, I was not going to not talk about Miss Dolly Parton, I mean, she's the queen. So may she rest in peace. And, her and Carl are back reunited together. So that's super sweet. Okay. Big Brother 28, I have to talk about it. And I know I have not talked about it at all this season, pretty much like up until this point. I do want to make it very clear that I have been watching. I have not missed a single episode. I'm listening to the live feed updates on Twitter, like reading the live feed updates if I can't listen to the podcast. Like, trust me, like I am very much in it. It's, now like I just have a lot of opinions. I feel like, and don't get me wrong, I definitely wanted to talk about Big Brother with you all and like share my opinions, but this is something that I notice every season with me specifically. It takes me a little bit to kind of get into it because there's so many players and like I don't know anything about these people, So it's like I have to kind of get acclimated to their behavior, like how they act, how they interact with each other, because it's like you can get the first impression, whatever, all you want. But I mean, a lot of times, like my opinions and first impressions, like they change on how I feel about like these players and stuff. And it does take me a little bit to start fully caring about what goes on in the game because it's like, week 1, week 2, it's like I don't have that much of like connection yet with these players. So to me, like I don't get super attached yet. So it's kind of like hard for me to really have too many opinions and any of that. So it's kind of like I really needed to kind of get this season started. I really needed to like it to really rile me up a little bit for me to be able to talk about it. So I'm not, just so we're clear, I'm not taking us back all the way to week 1. I'm kind of starting as to like where we're at today. So I don't know if that's what you're going to be looking for, but that's not going to happen. There's literally no way that I could do that because there's episodes 3 times a week and there's just like so much that's going on. Like absolutely not. But I kind of just wanted to give you like my current temperature check, like the thoughts that I have going on with the players and everything, who I love, who I cannot stand. Just kind of talk about that. I do want to mention I have some biases with some of these people because I am in a Big Brother fantasy league, like draft. It's nothing crazy. It's with 2 of my friends from college. Because let's be honest, I don't know if any of my listeners watch Big Brother. Okay. I've found it to be a very niche audience, but I'm telling you right now, if you don't watch Big Brother, if you've never dabbled, just do it, honestly. And you know what? Yeah, it may be a little bit too late, like to just like start from the beginning for this season, but just start. Just start. Cause you might kind of get like, ooh, like you'll find that more intrigue and then you'll be so excited for the following season. But like, it's just a really fun show. And it is one of my favorite reality shows because obviously it's reality mixed with competition. And I've been watching it, oh gosh, like forever. Like, I could say since season 1, which I kind of have, but I was so young, I wasn't really registering it because my parents watched it. So it wasn't really registering to me like what was going on. So I really feel like season 6 was where it was really when I was able to be like, oh, okay, like I kind of see like what's happening here and really kind of like to take it in. But yeah, so I have a fantasy league with 2 of my friends. Nothing crazy, like I said. I think next year we'll like up the stakes a little bit because like right now, like we just started this last season. So we're kind of still testing the waters. We have no cash prize, which I regret because I won last year. Like claps for me. Thank you. Thank you. But right now, the only thing that we really kind of have is the loser has to keeps the scoreboard. But I think next year we need to start putting some money out because just to make it a little bit more interesting. So like I said, I will have a little bit of biases because my players, how we do the draft is they release the cast. So we are strictly just like drafting just based on these people's intros. Like we have no knowledge as to how they're going to be as a gamer, how they're going to be as like a social player, like personality, really. Like, you know, you're just getting like a 15-30 second reel of just like about them. So we're really going off of nothing. So I just want to say that. Also, to spoiler, there will be some live feed content that I will be talking about. So if you don't like any of that, I just want to give you like that heads up. But we're just going to talk about all of it. And I'm excited because it's definitely like a dream to be on Big Brother. I would absolutely die to be on that show. But all right, let's focus. We're going to talk about it. Okay. Are you ready? First thing that I want to talk about. So this season we have, I'm going to call them icons because normally it's vets. And what I mean by vets is you have returning players from past Big Brother seasons joining a new cast. So we have what's called icons because there's 3 of them. We have 1 returning player of Big Brother, but then we have 2 survivor players joining Big Brother. So they're like called icons. So it's like they're in this CBS reality competition show realm. They've never played Big Brother, but they played Survivor. Okay. So we have Dee, Rick Devens, and Angela. Okay. Here's the thing. Are they making the season better or are they ruining it? Here's the thing. Moving forward, I don't want to see any more vets or icons on a season with newbies. Okay. Moving forward, I feel like it just needs to be an all-star season. Like, have everybody be a returnee. Like, don't put them in with newbies because here's the thing, especially more than one, they really just dominate the whole cast this season. And I just feel like it's not fair to the newbies. It's not fair to the audience members because we don't really get to see how these new players, these rookies, whatever you want to call them, how they would truly play. And here's why, because, and I would probably be fault to this. So my thinking is for these players, they're almost damned if they do, damned if they don't, because you have a little bit of star power, right? If these people are fans of the show, they're joining the show, they're like, oh my gosh, this former Big Brother player is on here. These Survivor players are on, like, you're kind of fangirling a little bit, right? Like you'd be just like, oh my gosh, like that's so cool. Like I've looked up to these people. So it's like you want their approval. You'll probably want to work with them. Like, you know, you'll kind of have like your eyes glazed a little bit because you're like, wow, this is so cool. And then, you know, quickly, like you'll realize like, oh, wait, we're still like competing against each other. Like these people know what they're doing. Like they've had their shot. You know, there's 2 types of players, like when vets enter the house. One of them falls in line and kind of just becomes like the little puppy dog, will be like the puppeteer, will do whatever they want because they want their approval. They love them as just like watching them from, you know, their original season. Then you have the other half, which is people that are like, we have to take them out. Like, this is our time. This is our show. This is our season. They've already done this before. We need to get them out. Okay. Happens every single time. Here's the problem with that though, is I feel like if this is going to happen, like a former player is coming in, I don't know if it's not a known thing, but there has to be, I'm sure, some sort of conversation that these people have with production to be like, hey, like if I'm coming in, if I'm going to uproot my life again, and like you want me to be put in this situation again, like I want at least safety X amount of time. So like there has to be something like in my favor. So great example of this first season, you know, or not first season, sorry, this season with these vets, it's like no one else could play to win the first HOH except for the icons. Okay. So everybody else couldn't win HOH. The 3 icons were able to play HOH. So it was like they had a 1 in 3 chance out of the whole house, which was like 16, 17 players. But anyways, so nonetheless, like, you know, they get some sort of pass or there's some sort of safety, or, you know, there's things like what we have this season, which is the BB time capsule. And apparently it's like America's vote as to who you want to either win a punishment or a power. But it's like, what all is production doing behind the scenes? Like they could control, like, you know, it's like there's all these powers, but it's like, ooh, like we need to make sure, like is America actually voting for this person? Because the first 3 people that won the BB time capsule, like America's vote, they all 3 were the icons. Is that actually what America was voting? Very well could be, because America knows these people. Like, you have more of a fan base, like you're rooting for them, but like we have no way of knowing that. And it's just kind of like, okay, they could easily say, we want you to stay. Yes, like we'll make sure like you're at least like, this is the kind of twist that we're doing. Like, we'll make sure that you're in there within the first 3 weeks so you can get a punishment or whatever. I don't know. It's just kind of like they have an advantage for sure. And then, so, you know, going back to the damned if you do, damned if you don't type of thing, you're almost like if you were to try to go against them, and this happens all the time. I mean, this happened this past season. If you were to try to be like, okay, like we need to stop these icons from running the season, running the show, like they're going to take us out one by one. We need to fight back. Like, we need to take this over. We finally see an HOH where that was happening. Like, Yash literally put 2 icons on the block. Okay. There's 3 people on the block. 2 of them were the icons. Okay. But Rick Devens, another icon, because he won a power from the BB time capsule, which was the Diamond Power of Veto. And I apologize if none of this makes any sense to you. Like, I am talking to you guys as if you understand this. So like, I really hope you do. But like, I'm trying to just like, I just need to vent this out. So this is why you guys need to watch Big Brother so we can all talk about this. But anyways, he wins a Diamond Power of Veto, which is a crazy power. Like, he was pretty much able to kind of take over this guy's HOH, and he took down one of the icons. But not only did he take one of the icons down, because he had the Diamond Power Veto, he was able to put up the replacement nominee. And lo and behold, he put up the head of household's #1 ally, and that person went home. So it's like, you then risk it by like, okay, you're trying to, you know, make it interesting, like not just fall in line, because we've also seen that happen before, like with Paul, season 19. He ran the show. Kind of funny because he didn't win. He was in the final 2 chairs, didn't win, but like everybody in the cast, besides like a small handful, were just, they did literally whatever he said, whatever he wanted. He said jump, they said how high. He said bark, they said woof woof. You know what I mean? And like the small percentage of people that were like, absolutely not, we need to go ahead and take this guy out, they immediately, like, they got shunned, they got ostracized, they left the show. Not willingly, but like, you know, voted out. And the times where it's like they did get in power to be able to try to maybe maneuver, like there was something else, there was some sort of barrier that couldn't allow them to see it through. So now, again, going back to, again, the damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you could see that as a player being like, oh my gosh, like I have no choice but to work with these people, because it'll just be easier to work with these people because obviously like they're going to have some advantages. There's 3 of them, like they're smart. They've done this before. So it's like you want to maybe get under their good graces, like, you know, under their wing, like they can protect you. But then it's like you kind of come into like you're falling in line, like you're kind of doing the things that they want to do. Maybe it's not what you want to do, but then you almost feel just like overpowered because, again, like then you see something like, okay, wow, this guy tried to take a shot at them and then it didn't even work out in his favor. And then one of his allies went home. So to me, in short, after that long-winded just like explanation, as exciting as it is to see Big Brother players that I love come back on a season. I mean, last year, honestly, was probably, I feel like one of the better situations of a vet coming back, like Rachel Riley. Because one, it was just one. Okay. There wasn't multiple. It was just one. And, you know, granted, she never was on the block, but she still had to, like, it wasn't super easy for her. You know, she still had to do a lot of work, working with people, strategizing with people, like trying to convince people of things. I mean, like she did an amazing job, and unfortunately she got out by a stupid twist, but that was probably like one of the better situations. But like that usually doesn't happen. People I feel like just tend to fall in line. And then when you're going to go ahead and have more than one, like they're going to, I don't know for sure if one would win, but I mean, they're pretty much going to be able to easily steamroll, I feel like, whether you like it or not. So like I said, even though it's super fun to see a past player that I really enjoy watching and love seeing on my screen, I rather just see these newbies and rookies and whatever. I rather see them play how they would without any preconceived notion of another player. You know what I mean? And then I also look at it as in, like, if I was on that season, if I was in this cast, like if I was on there right now, I would definitely be like, oh my gosh, like this is so crazy. Like these people, that's so cool. And then I also would be like, oh, great. Like, what do I do? It's like, I know like there's got to be a certain point. Like I probably need to work with them. Like that's smart because and here's another great example. Last year, whenever we were doing our BB draft, I drafted Rachel. And my friends that I was doing the draft with, they're like, what? You drafted Rachel? Like, why would you do that? Like thinking like, you know, like, cause she is a polarizing player. But I'm like, dude, if she's going to be on, like, surely like she's probably got some sort of safety going on. Like there's no way she's going to get out before jury. She lasted. She got into jury. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, in my mind as a player, I would be like, ooh, like they're probably like, they're not going to get out right away. Like I just like, there's just no way. So it's like, I need to team up with them. But then it's like, at what point do you break off? You know, it's like trying to like figure out like what point you start to separate, because it's like, we can't let them get to the end. So again, I just don't think it's fair. I feel like it does ruin the season a little bit. And it's like these poor players, it's like they have no experience on playing this game, and these people do. And like, I don't know, like they know like how to just like manipulate, lie, strategize. Just, yeah, why it can be exciting to watch. Again, I just would have loved to see like what these players, like how things would have turned out had these icons / vets not joined the season. But yes, okay. And then the last thing that, or not, sorry, not last thing, but like another point that I wanted to talk about is it's just kind of funny to like, I feel like some of the powers that people can get is really vague in a sense, to where production can kind of like teeter-totter how they want to handle it. And what I mean by that is we have Dee. Okay, she's one of the icons. She won her season of Survivor. Okay, so she's already like a millionaire. Great, congrats to her, right? She's like still in her 20s. Amazing. She won the BB bribe. Okay, so basically, like she gets this bribe. From what I understand, it's like you can bribe somebody for $5,000 to make a one-time like game move for you. Like they have to, like it's binding. Like if they accept the 5,000, like they literally have to do this. But that's so vague. And I feel like they kept it vague on purpose, depending on how maybe Dee wanted to use this power. Because here's the thing, she ended up being able to use it. Okay. So she's HOH currently. And, you know, one would think, oh, she's going to put up Yash because Yash put her up. But she didn't want to put up Yash. She's going to use her bribe power for 5,000. Not only like to Yash, be like, I won't put you up if the next time you win HOH, you don't put up me, Angela, and Devins. So the 3 icons. I just don't think that should be correct. Like, I don't think you should be able to use it for other players. I could see it if it's like, hey, for $5,000, like you need to vote out this person, like like I don't think it should be used for like a plethora, like a pool of people. And that's where I'm like, okay, did they leave it vague on purpose so then production could go back and be like, yeah, like we need all 3 icons to stay. We need to make sure that they're still in the house. So yes, go ahead. That's totally fine. Mention all 3 icons. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that is just insane. I feel like the power should be making sure like it is a one-time thing, game move for you only, or for like one specific move for like one instance. So, like voting out somebody, like that's a one-time thing, like affecting one person, not like keeping, like 5 people safe. And also too, for $5,000, listen, like I'm not clowning on $5,000. Like obviously I'd love $5,000, but when you're in a game competing for 750,000, I feel like the stakes should be a little bit higher because I mean, but who am I? Because Josh, he took that bribe. He was like, yeah, give me that $5,000. Absolutely. I'll take it. And I'll keep you, Angela, and Rick Devens safe the next time I win HOH if you don't put me on the block. Sure. Like maybe, okay. But it's just kind of like, make it a little bit more interesting. Higher the stake. Like the grand prize is $750K. Like make it $100K. Like you could get more. I feel like I feel like that is more enticing to get somebody to do something more risky, not great for their game, because at the end of the day, they could be like, ugh, like this is actually terrible. So it's a risk. But, because at the end of the day, only one person is winning that $750K. And, like they do have a stipend. I'm not entirely sure like how much the stipend is. Like it's obviously not that much, like each week that they stay. I think it's a little bit more once they get to jury. So it's like, okay, 5,000, like make it interesting. Make it $100K, make it $150K, 200. Like, I don't know, like 50K even. It's just like 5,000 is laughable, but I mean, he took it. So like, I don't know. I hope that worked for himself. But then too, here's my next thing. If he doesn't take it like that, I feel like it's almost like you feel like you have to take it. Because if I was D and I'm offering you this bribe of $5,000, like for you to not put me, Angela, Rick up, like, and you don't take it, then I'm immediately like, oh, okay, so you do want to put me up. Like that is your mission, like your target. Like there's no other people in this house that you would look at. Then you know what I mean? It's like, oh, so it's almost like you have to kind of take it. So it doesn't look like so obvious that, yeah, they are your target. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just a weird power. And I just feel like there needs to be more rules, stipulations. And I feel like they need to up the cost on it to make it more interesting, more enticing to do it. And that's just, I don't know. That's my thoughts on that. Another thing that I want to talk about with Big Brother is, okay, so they have live feeds, okay? So for those of you who don't know, another reason that I really enjoy Big Brother, and it's just like different than other reality shows, is because this is happening in real time. Like these people are currently living in the house. So, it's like Love Island, like we're watching it in real time. But what I love about it, and which I wish Love Island would take a page out of this book, they have 24/7 live feeds. And I say 24/7 very loosely because they don't show the competitions, which is super annoying. I wish they did. But they don't. And I mean, I think the wall comp is maybe the only competition, but we don't see it. So it's like live feeds will go off and then we like have to wait for them to come back to them, figure out like who wins. And then same with like the ceremonies, like those aren't on the live feeds. We have to wait to come back to see kind of like what the result is. So, and I don't know if they do that strictly to just like entice people to watch the actual production of the aired show, like the edited version of the show, because, if you're just watching the live feeds and like you technically wouldn't necessarily have a need to watch the actual show that's being aired. But I mean, honestly, you really do, because with these live feeds and these conversations, something that I wish production would really, drive home for these players is like, if you're in a room by yourself, like talk to the cameras, because sometimes like there's so many conversation and what is this game about? It's like manipulation, lies, whatever. I could watch all these conversations go on, but like, I don't know what's actually true. Like one person could have this conversation and be like, oh my gosh, like they're my target, I want them out. And then talk to another person, they're my target, I want them out, talking about somebody totally different. So I'm like, okay, who's the true target? Unless they're talking to the cameras, I truly don't know. Or like maybe like their number one ally. I truly don't know what's going on until I have to watch like the edited show. so I can get like their diary room sessions being like, oh my gosh, like I'm totally lying to this person. Like, or I'm playing dumb. Cause like there's times I'm watching these conversations. I'm like, oh my gosh, you idiot. Why are you saying this? And then they'll be in the diary room being like, this is why I said that. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like that actually was kind of smart. So it's like, I get that aspect. So I don't know if it's just like to force us to watch the show with not showing like the ceremonies and the competitions, but I would be watching it regardless because I need these diary room sessions. Like I need to know what these players are thinking because sometimes they don't talk to the freaking camera and I need them to start doing that. Like literally, like, I don't know. It's so frustrating because I'm just like, who is actually meaning what they say right now? You know? But anyways, so aside from, you know, like the competitions and the ceremonies that they don't like, they cut the live feeds for. They do an awful lot of cutting the live feeds when it comes to certain conversations. And I do know, like, sometimes they'll cut conversations if they're talking about production. And like, you'll even hear production be like, so and so, stop talking about production. Like, you cannot talk about production. Or if they start singing a song, they can't sing it because of copyright. So they'll be like, stop singing. And if the person isn't like stopping singing, they'll cut the feeds, I'm sure, to like really like hone it in. But what I don't understand is like cutting personal conversations or just kind of like maybe even controversial conversations. Because here's the thing, when you go tune into these live feeds, you know, there's like a little statement from CBS, Paramount Plus, whatever, that's kind of just like, you know, we don't like, these aren't representative of CBS. Like these are individuals, like strangers, individuals in the house that have their own ideas, own morals, own beliefs, thoughts, whatever. Like whatever they say doesn't necessarily represent CBS, whatever. Because in the grand scheme of things, like Big Brother is a social experiment. Like you are picking people from all walks of life, different personalities, like different careers, different mindsets, putting them in a house and just kind of seeing how they all mesh. Like that's part of the point, right? And, you know, there's some conversations going on that could be uncomfortable or maybe controversial and things like with microaggressions and stuff like that. And they'll cut the feeds, even though these are things that are being talked about and addressed or whatever. And I'm like, why are we doing that? Because if this is about real life situations, like things that are actually happen in the real world, but it's just on a smaller scale because it's just within this cast, you know, and you're already making the statement that like whatever, you know, is being talked about isn't necessarily something that like, oh, we're promoting this or standing by it, whatever. It's like, just let these conversations happen because that's real life, right? I don't know if it's something that's like they feel like they need to protect these players and what they talk about, like from the viewers, audience, outside scrutiny when they exit the house. But yeah, like there's just some things like I haven't been able to fully see situations go down because conversations will end up getting cut because the live feeds will get cut. So there's not like, I don't really have a full painted picture. But what I am gathering is just kind of like there's been some mistreatment that's been going on towards some of these players. And here's the thing. It's like this game, you know, it's a social experiment, like I said. But like there's a difference between playing the game and maybe isolating someone strategically versus making someone miserable personally. And when I say isolating strategically, I don't mean ignoring them or like shoving them into the corner or like whatever. I mean kind of just like, okay, they're the target this week. They're going out, like, all right, like what's the game? Like not going after them. Like, you know, you can have hard conversations when you're talking about game. You know, like you're allowed to lie. You're allowed to manipulate. You're allowed to dislike people even. You're allowed to target them. But at the end of the day, like you still do need to treat people with decency and treat them like a human, treat them with respect. Like hearing that people are getting ignored when they're on the block and they have to live in this house full of it's like already an uncomfortable situation. Like everybody is a stranger. Like, you know, you're going into this house, like, and then you feel alone on top of it. Like there's not a familiar face. Like you can't contact your family. Like you have no contact or connection to the outside world. So just because you're targeting them, like as a player, like you want to evict them, doesn't mean that you need to treat them terribly. You need to ignore them. You need to act like whatever. And here's the thing, I am all for a good old fashioned Big Brother argument when it comes to game. You know what I mean? Like really good arguments that have happened in the Big Brother house, it all stems from a game of like a blind side. Like, why'd you lie to me? Like, why'd you evict this person? Like, I thought you were with, like, those are exciting. Those are fun. When it doesn't become fun is when it does seem personal and when it does seem like it's the house versus one person. Like, it really is just very sad. And I don't like that. Like, I don't co-sign on that. And then two, it's just kind of like you're not really getting the full picture because it's like the cameras will get cut and then it'll come back and then they'll start talking about a situation of like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe she did that. Or like, whoa, like, can you believe that that happened? Or like that conversation. It's like, nobody can really like have an opinion on it. And then it's like, I don't want to rely on the actual show. Like, I don't know if it's just because they don't plan to show it on the show, the edited version of the show, but also too, I don't trust the edited version because I know that Big Brother, like something that they're really good at doing is, and I get it, there's so much going on. There's all this content and they're trying to make a storyline like really quickly, but a lot of times, like they don't tell the full story. Like people don't always get like the full credit that they deserve. You know, it's like they're working strategically behind the scenes and like this and that. And it's like, you can't fully get that whole picture because you're just cramming into a 1 hour episode. So it's like some people can get like a hero edit or like when they could really be like a villain behind the scenes. I don't know. It's just, it is very complicated. So it's like we get the pleasure of being able to have these 24/7 live feeds, but then you like cut out these conversations, you cut out like these issues, these situations, and I'm not really sure why. I don't know if it's to protect the players that are maybe being controversial or like not being whatever, or like the show as CBS as a whole, you know, because I know them people get a lot of opinions. It's like, why is CBS not intervening or like whatever? But my question would be, should they intervene? Like, there is strictly no physical violence policy. Like, that's happened before. It's like, if there's been any sort of physical violence, like, they get the boot, like, they go home, like, they don't have any tolerance for that. But if it comes to something like, you know, just like one person is being ostracized or kind of like just like stranded on it, like, that, like, do they intervene? Like, should they intervene? Because again, at the end of the day, it's a social experiment. So it's like you're wanting to see how these people like interact and how they maneuver in like these situations. So it's like, unless somebody is like truly getting harmed, I don't feel like they need to necessarily intervene. I don't know. That could be a hot take. I'm open to hearing your thoughts because it's like, yeah, obviously like mental health is super important too. It's like if somebody is really like feeling it, but you know, they do have, I know they have therapy and like psychiatrists like on staff, like if they do need to talk to somebody, you know, if it's getting to that point where it's like they can't even handle being in the house, like I feel like that's kind of like a deeper thing that they need to look into because also too, like there's, from what I learned, there's a lot of psych evaluations, like mental health evaluations, like making sure that you're good, like that you can handle this type of pressure cooker that you're walking into. So I don't know. I think it's like muddy waters, and I'm not saying that that's right by any means, but I'm just trying to figure out like, why are we cutting cameras? Why are we cutting feeds? This is what happens in real life too. So, you know, you're trying to see what happens like with all these strangers like living together. You already have the statement, the disclaimer of like, you know, you don't represent these 12 individuals or like 16 individuals, whatever the number. So like, let us see it play out so we can really truly form like opinions that are going on. But yeah, I don't know. But like, that also leads me to like my last point, and like, I'll move on to like my rapid fire of Big Brother. But like, and again, this is like a fine line too. Like, obviously I'm not saying that people need to be bullied or just like really tormented, but I will say villains are essential to a show. Okay. And I'm saying this because people really want Haley out of the house, or like sometimes maybe they don't even like Angela, I wouldn't even classify Angela as a villain. She's just very polarizing. Like she's just like a huge character because like you don't know which Angela you're gonna get. She's a very emotional, like driven type of player. So she's kind of scary to play with in that sense because like you just don't know what way she's gonna go. But villains, just like any other reality show, they're essential to the reality show. Like they keep things interesting. It's like whether you like them or not, they're like they need to be in the game or else it'll just be kind of boring. Like you need somebody to kind of be polarizing and whatever. And Haley's a great example of that because everybody's always like, oh my gosh, like she's clearly the target, like whatever every week. But then here's the thing, like she keeps skating by a little bit because people keep saying, well, like, why would we want to get her out now? Because she's always going to be a target. So like, let's just keep her kind of stringing her along. I honestly would not even be shocked if she ends up in those final 2 chairs, but she would never win because has terrible social game. Like she can't nurture relationships and things like that with the other players in the house. So it's like she, and that at the end of the day, like that is very important. Like at least like you could screw somebody over strategically or whatever in a game move, but it's like you still got to be able to have like that social aspect of nurturing relationships, like treating people with respect or like whatever. So I honestly, I would not be shocked if she ends up like at least in the final 2 chairs, but she would not win 100%. Again, I'm biased though, because she is on my fantasy team. So it's like every week I'm like, oh my God, is this the time? Is this the time? And it's like, here's the thing. Like, I'm not necessarily rooting for her by any means, but I also don't want her to go because my team, but it's exciting to leave her in the house because she like everybody like wants her out, but she's just like not leaving because everybody keeps saying, oh, we'll get her next time. Like she's constantly going to be a target. She's like almost like a shield, if you will. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy. But really quick, I'm going to go through like where I stand with players, like just these different categories, kind of rapid fire. But who I think is playing the best game right now, honestly, D, even though she has kind of like a messy HOH, and I do feel like she is moving things like really quickly because she's on a speed level, like mindset of Survivor, and that goes a lot quicker than Big Brother. But I just feel like even though she's messy and maybe she says too much or like whatever, she's just very influential for whatever reason. Like people will talk about that they need to go after her or like they're against her or whatever, but like somehow she has a way of like getting what she wants and talking to these people. And even if they disagree, they don't want her to do it and it really pisses them off. They pretty much succumb to whatever she wants. They're like, okay, yeah, like, okay, like if you think that's best, like I'm not like excited, but like whatever you want, like that's fine. And that's power. That's power, baby. Like that is crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, and she's already won Survivor, already won like $1 million. Like she's known for being apparently just like a crazy comp beast or like manipulative, whatever. And these people are just like falling for everything that she says. And, she's hearing of people that want to get her out and they don't take the shot or whatever. And then before they know it, now they're the target or they're on the block and they're about to see the door because she makes the shot first. Like she doesn't play around with that. So even though it's a little bit messy, I will say I feel like she is playing the best game right now. But the most dangerous game, I will say, is Devin's. And here's why. Like people view him as like the dad of the house. So it's like he just like has that vibe of him of like he's really good. Like he is strategic. I mean, he used his diamond power of veto to save like his number 1 ally and then put a huge comp beast, a huge target, like somebody that was going after them up on the block and managed to get them out. But he does it in a way that doesn't seem like super conniving and like super strategic, even though it is strategic. He just seems like very, like he's a calming presence, I'd say. And just, like I said, dad of the house. Like, it's like you want to get his advice or like maybe his approval or like he kind of like talks you off a ledge a little bit, even though he's like getting information and he's getting like, he's calculating it all. And he's good at competitions too. I don't know. I feel like he's pretty dangerous, in that regard. Cause it's like, yeah, people are like looking at him, but he has yet to be on the block. I think him and Barrett are the only 2 people that have yet to see the block. But I mean, if they let him keep going any further, that's just going to be really, I feel like harder it'll get. But who can sneak into a great position? Honestly, I feel like Angela, I mean, she started like I said, she is a very polarizing character. And I say character because it's just kind of like, obviously, like these people are being themselves, but like a character, like she has a huge personality. She's very emotional. She is good at competitions. Like she wins things. Like, let's not discredit her there. She may like ruffle feathers, but she also knows how to bounce back from that too. It's like she knows how to reconcile with people. She knows how to apologize. She knows how to get back in good graces with people, whether people like believe it or, necessarily like they're going to form an alliance and like move forward. I feel like she knows how to like create great entertaining TV, but not necessarily be a threat at the same time, even though she kind of is. So I feel like even though she's a part of the icons, part of the vets, with all these other newbies and rookies, like talking about how they need to get them out, she's the last one that people are really talking about. Like they're more fearful of Devins and Dee, even though Angela has played actual Big Brother before. And I feel like, she's just good, like with people. And yeah, like I feel like she can make a mess, but she can clean it up. And I feel like the other icons are who are being looked at, but then aside from the icons, then it's the other side of the house. So it's like she's just kind of like in the middle. So like I feel like she could be in a really good spot, and I feel like she could sneakily like keep progressing that way. But the most interesting person for me to watch this week is Mallory, because I don't know, I had high hopes for her. Like she's like this quirky, nerdy type girl. She seems very smart and she can win competitions, but I can't handle it because she just like doesn't make any game moves that she needs to. It's like she just is starting, like she's playing scared and playing too much in the middle, but she's letting the scaredness of her, like show. So unfortunately for her, now she is up on the block, and I don't know why she was throwing competitions. And she can't even believe that she's up on the block. So it's really interesting to watch her be so upset because this person, Dee, who she didn't really trust to be in an alliance with, she was wishy-washy the week before, is HOH. And, she doesn't initially nominate you. That's great, whatever. But now who she did nominate wins the veto. They take themselves off the block. You don't think at all that you need to like nurture the relationship with Dee, like check in, like have some one-on-one or like whatever. Like you don't think that you need to do that at all. Like she just kept saying like, oh my gosh, like I hope, just like assuming like she was safe and like, I hope I'm not a renom. And what do you know? You're on the block and you're like fuming, you're pissed, but you can't do anything about it because you're the target. And so it's just really interesting to see like her reaction, and it's like so scared. Like she wants to make these moves, but she just like is a mouse in a corner, and it's so frustrating to watch. It's like, go do something. You're like letting the game happen to you, but if she survives the eviction this week, I'll be super interested to see what she does moving forward. And I actually would really enjoy to see her win an HOH, because I mean, it seems like she has like the light under her butt, like fueled. But I don't know if she'll survive Thursday. That's the problem. It's like these people, like they get the fire under their butt lit a little bit too late. It's like you're already on the block. It's almost like your time has already come up. So it's like, okay, great. You're mad now. Now you want to really do something. Now you don't want to throw any more competitions because you see how important like competitions are. But it's a little bit too late. So if she survives Thursday, I will be rooting for her to win HOH. She isn't on my team, but I still will be rooting for her to win HOH because I'm like, okay, now something very interesting will be able to be done and all the powers are flushed. No more powers for these icons, these vets. They can't save themselves with those anymore. So they're just going to have to do it the old fashioned way, coming to a veto or a blockbuster, whatever. So yeah. Okay. Woo. All right. I'm going to be very quick with this because I did not expect to talk about Big Brother as much as I did. So I'm just going to very quickly, like, just talk about the Valley reunion part 3. I know we all have a lot of fatigue with the Valley reunion, but really, Ollie, okay, I don't know what's happening. Really, all I want to talk about kind of is just like the whole Danny and Nia situation. And then I'm kind of just going to be done with it, really. But here's the thing, it's just kind of like the whole fixation on Danny and whether or not like he was drunk. I feel like it's kind of like missing the point. I just feel like it's just kind of crazy to me. It's like there's clearly something going on that they are covering. It's like you quickly see Nia just get very much like defense mode. It's like, what are you covering? Because like they all say, they all have their moment. They all get drunk. They all do stupid stuff when they drink. But obviously, like there is enough going on for Danny, like when he does drink, when he does do these things to, raise alarm bells, like the whistles, the sirens are going off for people and it makes people uncomfy. But like they just keep really saying it's like, oh, you get drunk. But like they're still kind of really being vague. I mean, I know last season they talked about how he was like inappropriate, but it's just kind of like they still kind of skirt around it. And, they just don't, I feel like, peel back the layers and peel back the onion as to like what is the core issue with this. They just like so hyper fixate on like, oh, was Danny drunk? Was he drinking? But it's just kind of like there's obviously like a bigger issue here. And it was kind of annoying too because it's like they talked about like, oh, what happened at Jasmine and Melissa's wedding, but like we really couldn't even fully understand like what that was. Like it left on a cliffhanger of like, oh, like this happened and like only Jesse knows. Jasmine didn't even know. She's like, wait, what are we talking about? And and then it comes out that it's like a big deal because Nia was like, no, don't like pressure him or like encourage him to go drink, and Lala like to go to the after party, and Lala's like, that is a red flag. And I honestly agree with her. And here's the thing, like, love Lala to death. I will say, she knew what she needed to do as her role on this. Like, she needed to ask those questions. She needed to kind of like be annoying and honestly be aggressive and like insert herself. Was it a little bit annoying? I will say yes. It was like, okay, Lala, like just stop talking for 2 seconds. But it's like, I understood what she was trying to say. It's like, you're a grown man. Like, you can't handle like somebody else talking about an after party because like that's going to just like encourage you to like go to this after party and drink. And Nia has to set like a precedent of like, hey, like don't mention the after party because like Danny won't be able to handle it. Like he'll have to go, yada, yada, yada. And anyways, like I'm just so tired of hearing about like Danny's drinking. It's like something is going on, obviously. And Danny and Nia, like they need to figure it out. And everybody is drinking, okay, that's the thing. It's like majority of the whole cast is drinking. If everybody is just looking at you and focusing on you, look inward. Like, what is the problem? It's like, why are they just looking at you? It's like, obviously, like there's repeated behavior, there's repeated patterns. It's enough to be concerning. It's enough for your wife to be like, to tell other people, hey, don't mention this after party. It reminds me of myself back in college. Like, I loved an after party. Okay. We'd go out, whatever. There was the pregame, the bars, and then I was always looking for an after party. And sometimes my friends would be like, oh no, like there isn't one. And I'd be like, oh, dang it. Just so we could all like leave. But there probably was one. It's like they're tired. They want to go to bed. They can't tell me that there's one because I was ready to keep going. I was ready to rumble. But it's like, I was in college. Okay. I wasn't a grown person with a whole family, like 40s, and you have like 4 under 4 and whatever, and like married, and can't even hear the words after party without being like, all wound up. And so it's just very interesting. And it's just like frustrating to see Nia just get so all in a tizzy for people like bringing its attention. Like, I understand she wants to protect her husband. She wants to protect her marriage, but it's like, just be real and acknowledge like, yeah, like there's something that's going on and we're working on it. We're like trying to like figure that out. Like, I feel like everybody else would have way more respect for you to just be like, yeah, like they're like, he does drink too much and like I don't really like the way that he behaves like that. And like, sometimes like it's just kind of hard to like tame him when he does. And so unfortunately, like I have to kind of put a leash on him. And that's something that we're working on because like I don't want to have to be a parent to also my husband and yada yada yada. Not like, no, like I was just saying that because like I just didn't want him to feel left out or like go and like be encouraged to go. Like we have to wake up. We have like the kids and yada yada. Like it's like just like for the love, like stop. And it's like I don't know what you thought coming on a Bravo reality TV show was gonna be other than like uncovering all your mess, all your dirty secrets, any cracks, you know, in the relationship and the foundation. But like, I don't know. And it's like, I don't need Danny to stand up and be like, hi, I'm Danny. Like, I have a drinking problem. It's just kind of like, I don't know. It's like, we're just talking about like this drinking, but it's like nothing necessarily to stand on. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. We're just going in circles. It's like, is there a drinking problem or is there not? Is there a drinking problem? Is there not? Because it's like everybody just like is creating all these semantics and arguments and issues. But like they say like, oh yeah, Danny, you can drink. Like it's no big deal. Like have fun. But then like, oh my gosh, like, did you see how much he's drinking? Pick a lane, like help him, help you. Like I'm just as confused. Like I understand why Danny's confused because like I'm confused, but it's just kind of like, let's figure it out. And also like, let's not pretend that there isn't an issue because clearly there is, or else nobody would keep, like everybody wouldn't keep bringing it up. But it's like, they don't have anything necessarily to like pinpoint other than like, they just don't like the way he is when he drinks. But it's like, they can't necessarily say what, you know, I don't know. It's just kind of annoying, but I don't know if there is going to be, another season of this, but honestly, like, I just think that like Nia and Danny, like they've just spent so much time like just trying to like fight the perception of like that there's anything wrong, that it's like there's more of a magnifying glass on them. You know what I mean? If they would just quit like trying to like force like a perfect life and a perfect marriage, and just like allow themselves to be like raw and open, like I feel like there would be a lot more grace with people and like a lot among the cast. And I just feel like they would have like a completely different arc and storyline. And like they could actually maybe tackle some of the issues that could be there. And I just don't know why Nia is so scared of that. But I mean, it's very clear. Like she just like does not want anything other than like a perfect image. As much as she tries to say like, no, like I've been through hard things and like yada yada yada, like we're not perfect. But it's like, I don't know, like I don't feel like she's fully dived into this whole experience. So like I would not be shocked. Like if there is another season, I would so not be shocked if they do not return. However, if they do return, I just feel like it's still going to be like eyes on them because they haven't openly addressed anything. I mean, you think about it, it's like you have Brittany and Jax, like they were very open about all their issues. Like you had Michelle and Jesse, they were very open about all their issues. Like sure, people had opinions, but I don't necessarily even feel like it's like they had issues between each other, but it wasn't like the whole cast was necessarily attacking them together. You know what I mean? It's like it was those two like trying to like figure it out. And then it's like you had some people supporting Jesse, some Michelle, like having their opinions about the couple as a whole. I feel like that's what would happen with Nia and Danny. But also too, that wouldn't make for great television. Like sure, let everybody freak out about Danny's drinking. It's confusing to me. I don't know. It's just the whole show. Like I just don't honestly think at the end of the day, like there is just enough of these people's lives and drama for there to like keep creating storylines and like narratives. So it's like they're just really honing in on the Danny and Nia situation. But we cannot go into a whole nother season with that being the forefront and the focal point or whatever. So I really don't know where it goes from here, but I have fatigue from the show. I'm glad the season's over. No more reunions to touch on for that show. And yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see if there is going to be another season. Cause I mean, I will watch if there is, but I'm glad that we can kind of put that to a close. So, okay. So we're going to wrap it all up with Chic and Week of the Week. And I have to go. My Chic of the Week is Miss Dolly Parton. I mean, we just need to honor her and celebrate her life. And she was just such a sweet, giving, kind, genuine soul. And she just always radiated like happiness and positivity and beauty. And I don't know, she just was just definitely a Hollywood staple, America's sweetheart, if you will. I feel like, there's like the Mount Rushmore of America's sweethearts, and I feel like she's definitely up there. And it is really sad of her passing. And, I feel like she's just definitely loved. So my chic of the week goes to her. And I just, like I said earlier, I hope she's resting and she's in her comfortable, cotton bed, and she is with the love of her life, Carl, up in heaven, And then my week of the week is the term bullying, because I will be honest, I feel like that is almost overused, and it's misused a lot of the times. I'm tired of hearing that whenever there's any sort of conflict going on in a show, like Big Brother, any reality show, like people just like online, like people toss around like these words that used to hold a lot of weight and have a lot of meaning, and were very intense, but it's like you overuse them, and then they just lose meaning. They lose what it actually represents, and like how intense and important it actually is. So it's like when these situations are occurring, when there actually truly is bullying, it just kind of minimizes that, you know what I mean? So it's like, just because you're in an argument with somebody or you're in a confrontation or like things could be a little bit tense, like that doesn't mean you're getting bullied. But anyways, like I just feel like I've been hearing it a lot, especially within this whole Big Brother sphere, and like just listening to live feeds and like these conversations, it's like there'll be conflict. People are having arguments and then all of a sudden they're being bullied. And I'm just like, let's not just go to that. Let's not victimize ourselves. Let's not just default to bullying when that isn't true. When there's actual bullying going on, let's talk about it. Let's address it. Let's call it what it is. Let's call that person out. But just tossing it around, I feel like it just really minimizes what that word actually means. And for that, I say that's very weak. That's very weak behavior, and kind of like a little scapegoat, if you will, kind of like a cop out. Kind of like, oh, don't, like, you're bullying me. No. Be an adult, address the situation, have confrontation, have conflict. Just because there's conflict doesn't mean it has to be anything like super dramatic. Like you can have a conversation of disagreeing opinions and talk like an adult to another adult. So that is my chic and week of the week. Thanks for listening to The Drama Drop, you guys. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to follow at the.drama.drop on all socials. And I'll see you guys in the next one, because somebody has to talk about it. Love you guys.